Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we finally have the opportunity to take a look at the Nanmu Spinosaurus. I've been waiting to get my hands on one of these for quite a while, and I actually pre-ordered the limited edition version months ago, but unfortunately the limited edition version apparently is lost in the mail at this point in time, but I did order this one here. This is the JP3 version, and I ordered it from Dan's Dinosaurs, which luckily did not take too long to get here at all. As always, when it comes to Dan and his first-class service, I did acquire this Spinosaurus way faster than waiting for my current limited edition one that is lost in the mail. But once the limited edition one does show up, assuming it ever does, I will be reviewing that one as well. But as far as the box goes, it's pretty much your typical Nanmu box. It looks very similar to all the others we've had in the past, with a really beautiful image of the Spinosaurus here on the front, and then of course the Nanmu logo and all that fun stuff. Up here on the top, you can again see it's pretty much again the usual stuff from Nanmu. There's no real difference as far as the box goes, aside from the new image of the Spinosaurus and the fact that the box is pretty big here. And then the back of the box just sports the Nanmu logo once again. So let's go ahead, break this box open, and take a look at our Spinosaurus. So as always with the Nanmu release, you always get the really cool card included, and you can see some absolutely gorgeous artwork that does come with our Nanmu Spinosaurus. And then if we turn it around, we get that awesome shot that we saw quite a little while ago. I had showed you guys in a news video that this was going to be coming with the Spinosaurus, and it's absolutely beautiful here in person. Really, really awesome looking. I really feel like Nanmu and W Dragon are constantly in competition with each other to provide the best possible product with the overall most beauty included. And by including these really cool cards, if you can remember, the W Dragon one had a really awesome looking drawing of the Spinosaurus included, and now this Nanmu version also has this really beautiful color picture along with an awesome drawing here on the back. So first class as far as that goes. Then we also have some extras that do come with it, which if we open these up, you can see that it's going to be a pain in the butt not open for me. There we go. We've got a paddock sign here, a JP style version, which it's really hard to kind of see exactly because it's so bright, but you can see right there that it does actually have the arrow pointing down, so this is insinuating that I would imagine this is for the Dilophosaurus paddock. So fingers crossed, that means we'll get a Dilophosaurus from Nanmu at some point in the future. And then of course we have this one here, which just so happens to be, I'm sure at this point you could probably figure out that this is a Claire Deering figure, which is again awesome. Love that they include the human characters with each release. Super, super cool on the part of Nanmu, and that's something that nobody else is really doing right now, so I really do love that they include those. And then we have our Spinosaurus itself, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Looking at it here straight away, the paintwork on this is just extremely nice. Way nicer than honestly I expected it to be in person. I've been seeing a lot of images of other people getting theirs, and I'm just going to go ahead and assume that everybody's been using a bright flash when taking images of their Spinosaurus, because here in person it really looks like the coloration, the shades of colors used, is actually really close to what you see on the Spinosaurus. And with the images I've been seeing a lot all over the internet lately, they've really been bright, and I thought that this was going to show up kind of looking like a bit of a too bright of a tone, I would say, of a gray to really match the JP Spinosaurus, the JP3 version, of course. But looking at it here in person, it actually looks extremely nice. Again, the coloration looks all very, very natural, very nicely done. The tones of color used are beautiful, and the sculpt is just phenomenal as well. So let's go ahead and get a closer look at this right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt is just absolutely jam-packed when it comes to wonderful looking scaling, the very crocodilian-like scaling in certain areas, like right here that runs up along the ridge of the palate area into the little Spinosaurus crest that it has there, and you can see that the scaling all over the head area is phenomenal. Wonderful detailing right there by the eye as well. The eye is painted with a pretty nice greenish coloration. It's pretty close, I think, to the actual coloration on the dinosaur, and you can see it shines very, very realistically. It honestly doesn't look like it was painted. I believe it's a decal, if my camera would actually focus on it. There, you can see it pretty good there. I think it's a decal that they've used on the eyes. of the dinosaur. You can see that the nostrils are sculpted out quite nicely there, and they are painted and defined with a nice darker coloration. I really think that as far as the reds and kind of like the raw sienna color that is included all over the head of the dinosaur is really nicely done, pretty much spot on to the coloration of the Spinosaurus in the film. I think they absolutely nailed it, and wonderful tones of color all throughout. I will definitely say that as well. The grays also look really good. You can see the wonderful scaling all over the lower jaw, along with kind of some skin wrinkling here and there. And once again, the grays have very nice color tones. You've got darker grays and lighter grays all throughout, kind of striped through. It looks really nice. The reddish color is also outlined with a black, which is exactly what you do see on the Spinosaurus from the film. So I think as far as the coloration and the sculpt goes, they 100% nailed it here on this Nanmu version. You've also got the ear sculpted out back there. And then as always, we have an articulated jaw. And once we open the jaw, look at how incredibly realistic those teeth look. Really beautiful, almost translucent type of an appearance to them. Very similar to the way Rebor presents the teeth of their carnivores, and it looks extremely realistic. I think that Nanmu is just trailing right behind Rebor as far as the overall realism of their figures go. You can see the tongue is really beautifully sculpted, very nice textured appearance to it, and wonderfully glossed, very realistic coloration in there. Again, very reminiscent of the actual Spinosaurus in the film. If you look at the inside of the mouth on the upper jaw, again, the detail is phenomenal. Wonderfully brought out with a nice wash in there as well. So it looks extremely realistic. Even the skin flap over here on the side of the mouth has really beautiful detailing. It also has a nice wash included, making it have different color tones, but also an extremely realistic appearance. Also nailed with that wonderful gloss. The gloss coat they've used all over the mouth area and the eye area is just top of the line. It looks extremely realistic. The only downside I could say to the head straight away is once you open the mouth to about there, it looks really good, but if you open it any further, you can see that that skin flap then disconnects and there's a very large gap here. But honestly, I feel like that's probably a pretty natural distance to open the mouth. You don't really need to open it too much further than that. And it's kind of an inevitability because if you look at the size of the lower jaw, there's only so much of that skin flap they can really include in there. So you were kind of stuck with it looking like this, and I think it actually still looks really good. As you start to move down the neck, you can see all sorts of wonderful scales, very beautiful scoot-like appearance that runs along the upper part of the neck. And again, really nice skin wrinkling and skin folding all over the neck and the throat area as we lead down into the body here. You can see that the arm has lots of skin creasing going on and skin stretching and everything right there in the shoulder area, right at the base of the arm. The arm has really beautiful folding going on right here. Really nice muscle definition in that vicinity. And the skin detail in the arm is just amazing looking. As it runs down into the hand, you can see even that scoot-like appearance. Those scoots that trail down each of the fingers looks amazing. Really nice looking. Lots of color variation in there as well, kind of different tones of color, which helps the entire body to look extremely realistic. You've got the nails painted there in the hands, and you can see that they've kind of been dry brushed with like a light gray to kind of give them paint variation on the nails as well. Again, helping to make this look as realistic as possible. You've also got the elbow sculpted out back here. And one thing that is really cool, I think that is on this Spinosaurus that Nanmu has kind of had an issue with is the seams of where the body is put together. So you can definitely see the seam right here in the elbow area of where this arm was connected, but I really feel like it's much less visible on the Spinosaurus than it was on previous figures. So that is definitely a huge plus as far as that goes, because I really feel like the seam issue is probably the biggest thing that's holding back Nanmu at this point. The skin detail and skin texture all over the stomach region is absolutely amazing looking, as is the color variation. You can see so much beautiful color tones all throughout the body and the stomach region, and of course those really cool lines and kind of stripes, those squiggles that run all through the body that you do see on the film version of the Spinosaurus. It's all beautifully present, and that's one thing the W Dragon one was really missing, is kind of that squiggly look that the Spinosaurus has, and you can see it's all over the place on this figure, and Nanmu did not miss out on that. So they 100% upgraded the paint when it comes to a Spinosaurus as far as really looking like the Jurassic Park 3 version as far as film accuracy goes with the paint scheme in comparison to the W Dragon one. You've also got that really nice scoot-like appearance up here as you get closer to the sail. The sail is also incredible as far as the skin detail. Look at that. The scales even up here at the top of the sail are just amazing. It is ridiculously nicely sculpted. The sail also has really beautiful coloration. You can see that like light blue kind of creeping through that you do see on the Spinosaurus in Jurassic Park 3. I think the sail is the only area of the Spinosaurus that I would say doesn't look exactly like the Jurassic Park 3 version, but it's very similar to the W Dragon version where it didn't look exactly the same on that one as well. It's pretty close, but I think the white striping that runs through is definitely a little more vibrant, a little more noticeable in the actual film version of the dinosaur. But I still think that this is really nice and definitely looks really, really close. Wonderful skin stretching off of the body. Look at how incredible that looks. That skin detail as far as showing the movement in the sculpt is amazing. That is just absolutely off the charts. Really beautifully toned muscular thigh right there. You can also see the hip bone up here, which is also elaborated with that nice scoot-like appearance right along the hip bone. You come down into the knee area. The knee is really nicely sculpted. Once again, here is where the leg is connected, and you don't see the seam quite as well as you've seen it on previous figures. It is definitely there. You can definitely see it, but I feel like it looks a little better in comparison to the previous releases. Really nice, very large calf muscle as well. We move down into the foot. The foot looks amazing as far as the sculpt goes. The nails are painted the same here on the feet as they are up on the hands, with kind of a nice blackish coloration and a light dry brushing that runs all over the nails. And you can see lots of color variation in the feet as well. As far as looking like a realistic, real living animal when it comes to skin tone and color tones of the body, this thing is just absolutely amazing. As you lead back here into the tail, you can see again some more skin folding and skin bunching up as this leg is pushing into the skin a little bit there. And then as you move out the length of the tail, you can kind of see some striping going on and really beautiful skin texture as we move out the length of the tail. Lots of really nice creases in the skin. You also have a little bit of a ridge-like appearance that leads off of the sail up here on the top of the tail as we head out to a really nice curve and a beautiful point at the end. If you look at the underside here, you can see that the underside sports some absolutely beautiful detailing and sculpt as well. Right here specifically, like look how wonderful that looks as far as really showing the movement of both legs, pulling and stretching the skin and the different areas that would be showing that. It looks great, really nice coloration on the underside as well, very naturally applied. Beautiful detailing and paintwork under there. Looking at the opposing side of the head sculpt over here also looks just absolutely beautiful everywhere. Really, really nicely done. Again, lots of creasing and stretching of the skin here in the neck region. Really, really nice looking skin texture all over, skin folds galore, and really beautifully showing just the movement of the dinosaur for the position that it is in. Again, you can see that stripes start to pick up of that lighter gray, almost a whitish coloration here, leading back into the body, and it's also really, really naturally applied. It really does look like the body color of the animal, so it doesn't look like paint on a figure. I think the paint job of this overall is just amazing. As we lead back into the arm, you can kind of see the detailing looks very similar to what you saw on the opposing side as far as the arm goes, but that's because both arms are pretty much in the same position, so this arm doesn't look too different in comparison to the opposing side, but it really looks beautiful as far as the overall detail and the sculpt and everything. It just looks fantastic. Really nicely done as far as hiding that area where the arm is attached right there as well. Once again, the skin texture all over in the stomach region looks beautiful. Lots of really nicely done scale work all over the animal, and you can see the scales are all so many different sizes, and then they get larger and larger the closer you get to the sail of the Spinosaurus. You can see that they turn into a very large type of an osteoderm scoot-like appearance, and then you get up into the sail, and once again the sail looks amazing over here. So much color variation throughout. I love how it starts as like this gray and then transitions to almost that raw umber type color, and then out to that really nice red with the beautiful blues in between, and then that white stripe that kind of squiggles through. I think the white stripe is the only thing that doesn't look pretty much spot on to the Spinosaurus in the film. I think the usage of the white could have been done a little better. But other than that, it looks amazing as far as the paintwork goes, even including the stripes that run down the leg. Really beautiful paintwork for sure. Once again, you can see the incredible scale work all over the thigh and hip area. As we move down into the thigh, you can again pick up on the really nice muscle tone. Lots of really beautiful skin folding and everything going on. There is the wonderful kneecap, really large, bulging calf muscles like you would expect to find. And there's the foot sculpt for this side, which just looks beautiful beyond belief. You can also see that the dew claws are present on the figure on both feet. This one's a little hard to actually get a shot of, but there you go. Now you can see it. So the sculpting of the legs and the feet looks great on both sides. You can also see the skin stretching off of the body really naturally, really nicely right there. And then we lead out the length of the tail. Once again, it looks great as far as the sculpt and skin texture, the paintwork, everything is just top notch. The only other downside that I can pick out on this figure is the tail seam. You can see the seam right here where the tail is connected, and it doesn't look so bad on this side. But if we turn it around and look at this side, you can definitely see it a little more noticeably here. Especially if I turn it, you can now see that it's not perfectly placed. Really, right here, it's almost like there's a little bit of a bump right there. But aside from that tail seam, I really think that Nanmu has improved their seams overall for sure. And the paintwork, sculpt, everything of this Spinosaurus is just beyond gorgeous. And a quick closer look at the Claire Deering figure. You can see it's really nicely detailed, but you're not probably going to really be able to see just how good of a job they've done as far as the sculpt goes on the figure unless we actually take some paint to it and paint it up. It'll be a lot easier to see then, which I intend to possibly do at some point. I'm not 100% sure. I've kind of been debating about it for a while, painting all these very cool Nanmu human figures, but I did want to let you guys take a closer look at this as of right now regardless. As far as a size goes on the Spinosaurus, if we go from the snout and then we'll bring it all the way over here so we can get to the tail, to the tip of the tail, you're looking at about 17.5 inches, very, very close to 17.5 inches, maybe just under, or about 44 centimeters in length. So it's got a lot of length. It's a very sizable figure. And then for a height at about 7.5 inches or around 19 centimeters, if we go to the top of the sail and to the top of the head, about 6.5 inches or about 17 centimeters. Somewhere in that range. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, Robert Muldoon, and the Attack Pack Colovosaurus next to our Spinosaurus, helping to give you a pretty good idea of how well these figures match up to the Spinosaurus, but also showing you that this Spinosaurus has some pretty incredible size to it. For another size comparison, here is the Rebor Killer Queen female version of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and I know probably what you're thinking, I should be showing the male version, but I currently only have the female version out to look at, so in comparison to the Spino, you should easily have a good idea of how well this Rex sizes up with the Spino. Again, the male version is exactly the same size as the female version here, and you can see that the Rebor Rex is actually, I think, a little bigger possibly than this Spinosaurus. You can see that if I stretch the tail out of the Rex, it would probably be maybe a little tiny bit longer or very, very close in size to the Spinosaurus. But for the size comparison I think everyone wants to see, here is the Nanmu Spinosaurus and the W Dragon Spinosaurus next to each other, and I do believe many people want to see these two figures next to each other. One thing I'm noticing straight away is I actually thought that these two were the same scale, but as far as length goes, I think the Nanmu one might be a little bit longer or maybe very close in size as far as length goes. But as far as overall body mass, the W Dragon one definitely wins that fight for sure, as it is significantly taller for sure. You can see right there that it is taller, and then the overall body size, I feel like on the W Dragon one in general is bigger. It's really a much larger Spinosaurus. I mean, it's not too much larger, but it does have some pretty good size on the Nanmu version. As far as who wins the battle between the two to see who is the supreme Spinosaurus here, honestly, I really can't pick a winner. I really feel like that the Nanmu one, as far as the paint application goes, is a little closer to the actual Jurassic Park 3 version as far as really getting the design down, especially with kind of that squiggly line type appearance to it. I feel like they did a better job than W Dragon did on that, and I also feel like as far as the paintwork goes on the head, that the Nanmu one might be a little closer, especially because they did get that kind of black outlining that goes with the Spinosaurus. Nanmu did not get that, which I actually didn't really notice that before. or at least it doesn't look noticeable. If they have done it, it's not very striking and not as vibrant as you see on the Nanmu version. The tones of color are actually slightly different, as the red on the Nanmu one is a little bit brighter. The reddish coloration on the W Dragon one is a bit darker. I do like the head sculpt, I think, of the W Dragon one a little more than I like the Nanmu one. I'm not really sure why, but I feel like the W Dragon one looks a little closer to the actual film version of the Spinosaurus, just ever so slightly, than the Nanmu one. And I really feel like that the eyes look a little better on the W Dragon one than they do on the Nanmu one. But I feel like potentially the body shape, as far as looking a little thinner and a little more sleek, may look a little closer to the actual Jurassic Park 3 version, more so than the W Dragon one does. So it's really kind of hit or miss, honestly. I feel like you just kind of have to own both of them, because they both have their ups, they both have their downs, I guess you could say, in comparison to each other. But they're both absolutely phenomenal Jurassic Park 3 figures. So the question as far as which one is better beats me. I guess it's really up to you guys and what you prefer. I really don't think I could pick a winner. So this Nanmu Jurassic Park 3 style Spinosaurus is just absolutely beautiful. I think the sculpt of this is beyond wonderful, as far as really showing all the movement in the dinosaur really wonderfully throughout the sculpts. Nanmu does not skimp out when it comes to their sculpts, and they 100% throw in as much detail as they possibly can throughout the entire figure. It is beyond sculpted to the max. So as far as the detailing goes, the very fine detailing, including things like skin texture, the scaling, and all of that fun stuff, it is amazing. We do have a beautifully articulated jaw on the figure, which sports an incredibly realistic looking mouth on the inside there, with very realistic looking teeth, and beautiful paint application and gloss coat included with the mouth and tongue area and the inside of the mouth in general. You also have really nicely done eyes as far as the coloration and the placement of the eyes, and the overall paint application on the entire body is really, really well done. I think as far as matching up to the JP3 Spinosaurus, this is the closest we've ever had to really matching the coloration of the JP3 Spino. I think the only thing that I would say on the W Dragon as far as the paintwork goes that might be a little bit better besides the eye would be potentially the skin color, because I feel like on the actual JP3 Spino in the film, it kind of had a little bit of a mixture of brown and gray together, and although I do see that here on the Nanmu one, it's not quite as noticeable as the W Dragon one. So I feel like the actual shade of color used for the body might have been a little better on the W Dragon one than here on the Nanmu one, but the overall design and paint scheme on this one really picks up all the things that the W Dragon one was lacking. So again, not to jump back to the argument of who is better, we really have a lot to love about both of these figures. But again, Nanmu did a wonderful job overall on the paint scheme, and as far as the paint scheme goes, I really think that it looks very, very close to being film and screen accurate. The only thing, aside from the slight shading of the skin coloration, which really does look very good, honestly, in person. It's absolutely a beautiful coloration. I just think that the W Dragon one might have been just a hint closer as far as the skin tone goes. But I really think that on this one, it looks phenomenal. But the sail, again, just like the W Dragon one, doesn't pick up perfectly to what you do see on the film as far as that kind of white line, that squiggly line that runs through it. It doesn't look perfect, but it does still look about as good as I think you're going to get on a mass-produced figure like this. So regardless, it does still look beautiful. The seams have been really nicely done for the most part on this Spinosaurus, as opposed to the previous versions of Dinosaurs released by Nanmu. They've had a bit of an issue when it comes to covering up the seams, and I feel like it's improving on this Spinosaurus. It does look a little better, but the tail one not so much. In some areas it doesn't look that great, but I feel like it has definitely started to head in the right direction. It just isn't quite there yet. But overall, this Spinosaurus is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Is it the best JP3 Spino we've ever had? Again, that's probably up to you to decide, because I really can't pick between this or the W Dragon one. It's just too hard. But is it a wonderful version of a JP3 Spino? Absolutely, and easily one of the best versions of the JP3 Spino that we have ever had and probably will ever have. So if you want to pick this up, I will link you guys to Dan's Dinosaurs, where I purchased mine. So make sure you head over there through the link in the description. Tell them at Dan's Dinosaurs that Andy sent you and pick up this incredible Nanmu Spinosaurus right away. And once my limited edition version arrives, I will be sure to review that one and get that one up here for you guys to take a look at as well. So again, make sure you buy this amazing Nanmu Spinosaurus from Dan's Dinosaurs. But before you do that, don't forget to please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.